Hello and welcome to the Drop a Stitch podcast.
I'm your host, Denny.
And I'm your other host, Natalie.
How are you guys?
Wait, and today we're going to talk about...
Oh, sorry. I always forget something. Okay, so today's we're talking about the one-of-a-kind show in Toronto recap.
Yes, because Danny did the show last year, if you missed it or if you're a first-time listener. And so we're going to do a recap on how it went for her.
Finally.
Yeah.
I feel like I needed to talk about this soon-ish so I don't forget all the details.
Yeah, because it's already been a few months.
Yeah.
A couple months.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How's your week?
Oh, it was very interesting.
Interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know all the details, but tell everyone why it was interesting.
Okay, before, if you guys are watching on YouTube, hi, we have
Hello.
video.
We're also not looking straight at the camera because we're looking at each other on this like computer screen.
Yeah.
But
you guys can see us.
Yes, at least.
And if it works perfect, then you guys are watching us on YouTube. But if it doesn't, you can still listen to us. Yeah, because it is the first time we're doing this with this camera, and we're trying. So
yes,
let's hope that,
and we'll try to improve for the next times.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, my week was very interesting. We got hit by a car. So my car goes smush.
Yes.
Well,
luckily the kids weren't in the car.
Yes, I wasn't in the car. The kids were in the car. It was only Kale, my partner, and his cousin. He was going to drop him off, and a stupid truck just drove into the car on a roundabout because apparently people don't know how to use roundabouts.
People don't. I can confirm.
And it was a big truck, one of these trucks that's, putting salt on the ground, and it's a private company. It's not the city, but
oh, I thought it was the city.
Well, I think the city hires these companies to do it.
Okay, I see.
So it's probably the city, but a private company for the city, if that makes sense. So the thing is that the guy just thought that, I have a big truck, so then you have to either go faster or I'm gonna drive into you kind of thing, because he was just, you should have moved. And Kel was like, I was in the roundabout, like in my lane, inside in my lane, already in the roundabout. So you wait until the people in the roundabout get out of it, and then and I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So the car got smushed a little bit, quite a bit. It's gonna be very expensive. Thank God for insurance. And we got new car seats as well. So the car seats were in the car. So if you guys don't know, whenever your car is in an accident, minor accident, depending on the manufacturer, you have to read the brand of your car seat, but most likely you have to replace it.
Yeah, so, usually if there's any crash, you have to replace your car seat. Yeah.
Some manufacturers will tell you a bunch of things that you can not throw it out, but you have to have every single point in order for your car seat to be safe. And if one of those points wasn't met, then you most likely have to what's it called? Replace it.
You replace it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So we were since Thursday, because this happened on Thursday. Well, luckily, obviously, my partner and his cousin are okay. They're both safe. Nothing happened to them. So that was, the main thing. Yeah. But then since Thursday, we ordered the car seats on Friday, and we just got them. So it was very hard not being able to go anywhere with the kids because we didn't have a car seat, and it's winter, so our house is not big, so there's only so much you can do inside. So they were going a little bit nuts. So I'm happy that we got oh yeah, so I'm happy that we got the car seats today. And the other thing that happened is that I got my citizenship
Yes.
It was a very
She's
nice.
officially a Canadian, y'all.
Yay! It was a very nice and short ceremony, but before the ceremony, we had to wait like an hour and a half online, literally not doing anything, just waiting.
For everyone to come into the...
Well, everybody was there. They were just doing the registration.
Okay.
So that took forever. And I was like, I could have done so much in this time. I could have been working on my project as I was waiting. And I just...
You didn't have a project near you? Who are
I
you?
did, but I didn't know when the thing was going to start.
Oh,
So I was
you didn't wanna,
I didn't want to leave even to get anything because I was like, I don't know when this is going to start. So, yeah, that was... But it's done, and now I'm going to go get my Canadian passport. As soon as I get my citizenship certificate, which should be probably tomorrow, hopefully fingers crossed, if not Friday, and then it would be very tight for me to go on Monday. Or I can go in the weekends, but it's even more expensive when it's on the weekends. To get like the urgent express passport or whatever. I can use the paper, but I'd rather have the passport if I can. So
yeah. Hopefully you get it on time.
Yeah. How was your week?
Very uneventful compared to yours.
I know, I got so much going on. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the week went by super quick.
Yeah.
My son's first toot came through, so
yay!
He's been in a much better mood, but he's still a little crabby, and we're still struggling with sleep and naps and stuff. So, trying to take it easy and give him all the attention that he needs. And
yeah, he's so freaking cute. You guys came yesterday, and oh my gosh. Yes. He's so freaking cute and he's so adorable. Alert and awake. He's just
all the time
looking
he doesn't
everywhere.
Sleep too. And
that's why he doesn't sleep.
Yeah, he does the cutest thing now where he like grabs my face and like tries to kiss me with like full open mouth kiss, and then he like licks you with his mouth stuck to you. Is the cutest thing. He like when he's super happy, he just like and just wants to like give you this biggest hug and this biggest kiss, and it's adorable. I mean, it's this slobbery mess, but it's adorable.
He's so cute. Besides that, nothing else?
No, not really.
So what are you working on?
Just getting ready for the trip. Aside from that, nothing else. What I'm working on a little fox. These are ears.
Aww.
I'm working on a little fox for someone I know who's pregnant. They're doing a fox themed baby room.
Oh, that's so
she
cute.
requested that I make a fox as her baby shower gift.
She requested it.
Yes.
That's cute.
So that's what I'm doing.
That's very
What
cute.
are you working on?
Well, I don't have anything in here because I didn't put my my tripod, like the arm tripod. So I have my microphone literally in front of me on the table. So I have no space to crochet or to knit. But I'm currently working on a project that I'm doing, a collaboration that I'm doing with Lion Brand. And it's almost done. It's got pockets.
Ooh, you did pockets.
Yes, it needed
you had
pockets.
to.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm also doing, okay, you guys are going to see it soon-ish. But it's cute.
Can you tell them what it is?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell the podcast people.
Okay.
It is like a poncho cape kind of thing. So ponchos are closed, right? The capes, or some people call them, what's the name? Ruanas, I
Ruanas,
guess?
yeah.
Yeah. But this is like more wintry because it's obviously thicker, and it's not obviously because you guys haven't seen it, but it's like it's winter, so I wouldn't make anything summer related.
Yeah.
So I'm making that, and it's super nice and cozy, and I'm making with a nice I made pockets because it needs pocket, and it's open, so you can close it. You can put a belt around your waist if you want to style it. And I'm seeing how much yarn I have left to make a collar. I already made like half of the color, but I needed to make the pockets first to make sure I had enough yarn. And if I have more left over, I'll make the color a little bit longer. But it's really cute. It's nice and it's cozy. And the yarn is Hue and Me by Lion Brand. So after you're done and then you throw it in the washing machine and the dryer machine, it comes out ridiculously soft. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. And I'm also working on another blanket pattern. So I'm working on those two things now.
At the same time?
Yeah. And I have 2 more blankets ideas that I already got the yarn for. Like I'm on a roll. And people are loving the blankets. I'm like, okay, let's just make blankets for now.
Who doesn't love a blanket? Let's be honest.
I know. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I need to tell you something really funny that's happening right now to me. What? I needed a sweater, and all my sweaters are in the washing machine.
Okay.
So I put a load in the dryer, and I took this sweater just to wear now for the podcast, and it's damp. So I feel like a freaking damn cat or something like that. Like the cuff,
the sleeves,
the sleeves are like really damp, and I'm like, oh, I just want to take it out.
So funny.
But anyways, let's get into
the
today's
podcast.
Episode. Yes, let's get into today's episode.
Yes, so we're talking about the one-of-a-kind market in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys don't know, or if you're not from here, I mean, I didn't know this. I didn't even know about this show, but it's one of the like biggest markets that they have in Canada.
In North America.
In North America, sorry.
Yeah.
And they actually have like scouts going everywhere across North America, kind of recruiting people and doing that. That's how you heard about it, right?
Yep.
You had someone come up to you at one of the markets and ask you if you wanted to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this was not last year. This was the year before, right?
Yeah.
2 years. Because you applied early last year, right?
Yes. Yeah. So yes, it was the year before then.
So basically 2 years ago, or 2 market seasons ago.
Yeah.
This guy approached you asking you to join, if you wanted to join the one-of-a-kind market.
Yeah.
And you weren't sure if you were going to do it. I remember this.
Yeah, I wasn't very sure. I was like, should I do it or not? I don't know. And then I did it.
What made you decide to do it?
I don't know. It's funny because I was just thinking about it and I didn't know if I was going to do it. It was just in the back of my head. So the market season happened. He invited me to apply, and then New Year's passed and I thought, you know what? I can just take a look and see. And the application, the deadline was 2 days after. I thought, let me take a look and see if I can apply.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, I was like, okay, if this is happening and the applications close in 2 days, it's for the reason, right?
Yeah. It's like kind of faith that you saw it. You thought to look then and you had 2 days left to do it.
That's right. So I just did it. I was like, you know what? I talked obviously with my partner and I said, I really want to do it. It's a big market. It would be,
Yeah, because just to recap for people, Toronto is about like 5 hours, 4 hours and a half away from where we live in Ottawa. It's also a 10 or 11 day market. 11-day market. So it's not like I'm gone for a weekend. I'm gone for like a week and a half. And so with the kids, with everything, like it's a big undertaking.
We also have 2 young kids. So me going involves the whole family going. Like it wasn't just me, and so it was like a family decision. So I asked, I told him I really want to do it, and we decided that I was gonna do it, and we were full in, and I applied, and then I don't know, I feel like a month or 2 later,
it took some time before you heard back.
When they were sending the acceptance letters, I got it. And at first, everybody was showing on their stories that, oh, we got into the show or whatever. And I wasn't getting my email. So I was kind of relieved. I was like, okay, it's not meant to be. I wasn't supposed to be at that show. It's good because, it's super long. There's so many things I have to make. And it's just for the best. And then probably an hour later, I got the email. So then I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. What am I going to do? And all the things started,
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah, because then you had to plan and prepare and organize.
Yeah, and it just so much goes into the show. It's so long, and it's the first time. And it's crazy. I'll tell you guys everything about it, obviously, but it's crazy because now if I were to do it again, which I'm not, but if I were to do it again, I know exactly what to do, what not to do, what to bring, what not to bring, what to rent, things like that. And as your first time, unless you have somebody close to you that has done it already and that they can know exactly what to do and tell you exactly what to do, then you obviously are going to make mistakes and things that you're not going to know. So
this is also why we're doing this podcast. So Danny can share all this information.
That's right. So I applied and I got accepted. And then I started already thinking, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to make? So the first thing I did was a list with the items that I currently make, that I currently have, and the ones that I feel comfortable making, that I like making, because you have to think that for markets, you shouldn't be making anything that you don't enjoy making.
No, we have to cut into and say when you applied, you had to list out what items you make.
Yes.
And so they had to approve the items that you could make because they obviously don't want to have too many people doing the same things. And they want to kind of control, if, I don't know, scrunchies were to be popular that year, how many people are making scrunchies and how much of your inventory is scrunchies and stuff like that. So you had to provide a list of everything that you make, and they could either approve and just be like, no, you're only bringing hats, or yes, you're bringing hats and scarves and this and that. And so you had done that too.
I forgot that detail.
Very important detail.
Thank God for you. Yes. So when you are applying, you have to list everything that you make and everything that you're planning on bringing for the market. And like Natalie said, they will approve or not all of your items, some of your items. I got all of my items approved except, all of the items that I had listed were approved. The only thing that had, like, not a condition, but I put crochet scrunchies just to, because I couldn't remember what else I used to make. I was panicking at that moment. And they said that the scrunchies couldn't be more than, I think they said 15% of my inventory. Yeah. I can't remember exactly the number, but that's what they said.
They gave you a percentage.
Yeah, it cannot be more than 15%.
You can't be the scrunchy girl.
Exactly.
You can have, but you can't be.
I didn't even make any scrunchies. I didn't even bring any.
No, because that's the thing too. If they tell you you can, it doesn't mean you have to bring those items. It means you can.
Yeah. So once I got that list and I got all of the items that I was approved for, I started making a list on Excel. I made a spreadsheet and I put all of the items that I sell, and then I put all of the prices that I currently sell them here in the markets in Ottawa. And then I was putting a goal set of like, I want to make, let's say, 200 hats. And then on the other side, another column, I put what I currently have to see my goal versus what I have. Yeah. And then on the next column, I had the total. So I would,
it's
every
important
time,
to look at it, like you looked at it two ways. You looked at it, okay, how much money can I actually make with the stock that I have?
Yes.
So time like 200 hats at whatever, how much they were, it gives you how much, right? So you looked at it two ways. How many hats, like physical items, do I think I need to have enough? and also how much money can I actually make, because it had to also make sense money wise.
Yeah. So that's what I did mainly. Was, to me, my inventory was based on a number, a price, like money wise, rather than I want to have X number of items. So in one column, like Natalie said, it was the total of how much money I would make if I had every item in my inventory, and then how much money I currently have with the items that I currently have. So every time I would make, let's say I made 3 hats, they're done, I put them in the inventory, it will tell me, okay, you have this amount of items, and then this is the amount of money that you have based off, the items that you currently have. So that was super, super helpful, because it would give me a visual of how many items I have and how much money I have worth in that inventory. And because you have to make so many things, everything was stored away in my storage room and in my garage, so I couldn't see the items that I had, but I could see them in the spreadsheet every time that I made something. So my goal was to have double the amount of money that I spent in the market, plus more, maybe like $10,000 more than that. Like, that was my goal. We'll talk about that later on, but
Did you meet that goal though before
I did
you
not.
got there? Because
not.
You also set yourself like a big goal, knowing
Yeah.
that you probably wouldn't make
Yes.
make it to that goal, but you aimed higher and
Yes.
kind of saw how you went.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tip that everybody can use for any market. And I did it when I did my markets, because when I originally applied, I wasn't really thinking I was going to get in, so I hadn't made any inventory at all, aside from what I had from like previous years and a few things I'd done here and there, but like I hadn't actually done any market prep. And I was kind of freaking out, and I was like, I have to refuse. I can't do all these markets. I don't have enough stuff. And interestingly enough, my partner, Eric, was like, okay, but wait, how much do you usually sell at a market? And then he's like, how much inventory do you have? And if I looked at my like 2 bins of hats, I was like, this is not enough. But if I like took the amount of money versus how much I normally make, I'm like, well, wait, I have way enough. You know what I mean? So like, it's an interesting other way to look at how much stock you need by like, if you know the average of items that you sell, or the average like price or money that you make out of a market, you can kind of, do it that way too. And then be like, okay, actually I can make like 4 times that, so I definitely have enough.
Yeah. And also I lost my train of thoughts.
Sorry.
Do you remember that I used to do that at least once last year?
An episode. You did that once an episode.
Yeah. I completely forgot what I was going to say. I was so focused listening to you, and then I'm like, boom, it's gone.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah. But yeah, so then when I had all of that on my little Excel situation, it was really easy for me to see, and also easy for me to see, okay, I have, let's say, 50 double brim beanies, and my goal is 60, just to give you an example. And then I had another category that had 0 or very little amount. I know that I shouldn't be making more double brim beanies. I'm going to make something else, because double brim are already meeting the goal, let's say.
Or close enough to.
Close enough, yeah. So that was really good, because I could really see what I needed to make, and it was super, super helpful. So once I got my list, I just started making, and I obviously set myself a really high goal, thinking that if I don't meet that goal is okay, because it's really high, but I'm making, if I get close enough, it's still good. You know what I mean? Because I just knew that my goal was super high. I don't know if I can't remember if I put like a goal and then like a minimum. I can't remember if I did that.
Not when you showed it to me, at least.
No.
But like, you knew you weren't going to make your goal, but you kind of, it was like you would feel the safest going if you knew you had this much of all of these different things. But it was like ridiculous amounts. It was like 500s of this kind of thing and like 400 of this. Like it was high numbers. But you also, it was your first time doing a 11-day show. It was your first time, you know, testing out the Toronto market, because it's not exactly the same as the Ottawa market. Obviously, every region has their own kind of market.
And boy, was I wrong.
I mean, we'll save that for later. But yes, you prepared according to the knowledge you had then.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't think, knowing you, I don't think you would have prepared any other way.
I mean, no, but now that I know, if I were to do it again, I would know what to make.
Yeah, you would know, of course.
Yeah.
But then we also have to talk about the fact that when you're doing the one of a kind, you have to provide your whole booth. And it's not like smaller markets where you can either rent a table or a chair or bring your own and you just kind of set up. You had to have walls. You had to have like, people were building floors and ceilings, and like you were basically building a room. That you like, you're building a tiny little store. That's what it was. You had
like a little storefront.
Yeah, you had a 10 by 10 booth, right?
Yeah, so that's the next thing. So once the inventory was done, and not done, but I'm saying like all set up for me just to make and produce, I needed to think about the booth. And different booth sizes have different prices. And I knew that I had a lot of things. Like I have a lot of, not a lot, but like different categories. And I want each category to have its own space. So I knew that I couldn't have a 10 by 5 by 10. So I wanted a 10 by 10. And 10 by 10s are good. But then I realized, and a lot of people told me, and you can figure that out after on your own, that are not always the best, because if you create like a mini store where people have to walk in your booth, they're more scared of walking in your booth because they feel more intimidated and they feel more compromised. Some people don't want you to talk to them. So not everybody's going to walk in your booth. So that's something that you need to know if you're making a walk-through booth.
Yeah. I mean, imagine going to a small store and having the clerk stare at you as you shop. It's kind of the feeling that people, the feeling that people get when they have to walk in your booth. They're literally feeling like you're just sitting there waiting and you're like, hey, and they're like, oh, cool, you're gonna look at me while I shop. It's not fun. Whereas if it's like a booth where you don't have to walk in, you can just kind of like slow your walk and just kind of look as you go, and it's a lot less intimidating.
A lot of people, a lot of vendors chose the 5 by 10 for that reason, because you can have more like in the front, so then people can just walk by and they see your stuff. And then you can have the behind for you to store your things or whatever.
That's actually really interesting.
And that, and I didn't know that. I always knew that walk-in booths weren't like 100% effective. Just for that reason, people really don't want to go in there. At least not everybody. But I did it anyway because I was like, you know what? I need this space. I need all the walls that I can. I have a lot of things that I want to display, and I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And at first I was, okay, so then after you get your space, you are sent a little form, not a form, like image of how the booth look like, or what's the space going to look like.
Yeah.
They send you pictures and stuff with the actual dimensions, because it is 10 by 10, but technically it's like 9.8 by 9.8 because the curtains that hang or whatever. So then when I knew all of that, then it was time to build my booth and design my booth.
Yeah.
So I started looking on Pinterest. I started looking for different designs, different ideas. Then I went to the Pinterest. They have a Pinterest board, the people from the One of a Kind show, where they have a lot of pictures of booths, so then you can get inspiration.
That's helpful.
And see how they look like and what they have. So I went and I looked everywhere, and I did a little sketch of how I wanted my booth to look like. And at first I wanted my checkout station to be right by the entrance, and then I was like, no, that's like way more intimidating, because then people have to actually walk and pass by me in order, and then like when they leave they also have to pass by me, and they're probably not gonna want to do that. So then I moved the booth to the back. So
that's true. I remember your design, and like now that you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, you did do that, but I didn't even clue in that you did that.
Yeah,
but it makes so much sense.
So I wanted to have walls that had shelves, so I could display all of my items, and I also knew that I wanted to have like a storage space in my booth, because this space you can rent storage in the building, but it's ridiculously expensive. Should we get to what the price was?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that was before, right, when you sign in for the booth. So it was, counting all of the fees and everything, it was, I think, almost $5,000 just for the booth, just for the space, just for you to be there. So we're not talking about the lighting, the booth, building your booth. We're not talking about Airbnb. We're not talking about anything else. Just the fee for you to be there.
Yeah.
That was like almost $5,000.
Which is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So right there, you're super nervous, because that's a lot of money that you have to recover just to get your money back.
Yeah.
So then I knew that I wanted a little space for my items, like a little storage area. I knew that I wanted shelves and a little checkout station in the back.
Yeah, because just so people know, this is a massive convention center. And like when you first set up, you can bring in your car and you can unload your things. But every single day, you can't do that. You can't, drive through people's booth with your car or anything like that. So like whatever you would bring in, you'd have to bring yourself. Like you don't have time to be bringing bins and bins every day to refill. So you can, like as Annie was saying, rent a storage space there and have your stuff in a closer location, or just within your own booth, figure out where to put your inventory so that you can just pull out as you need.
A lot of people did that. They built their own storage area, or like you said, people that had the longer booth, like the 5x10 or 5x15, they will kind of have like a counter, and then under they will store all of their stuff. I had a storage on my left. I will put a picture, if I can, somewhere in here for you guys to see, or if you follow me on Instagram. Yeah, in the show notes.
Actually, yes, we're going to have show notes. Not yet, but soon. And we'll backtrack to all the episodes, so it'll be in there.
Okay. And are we doing it on your blog and my blog, on both?
Up to you.
We could probably do it on both.
We can.
Yeah. No?
Sure, if you want to.
Okay. So I will, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have already seen my booth. I did a few reels and pictures, so it's there, but I'll put a picture in here for you guys to see. And yeah, so after I had that figured out, I asked my father-in-law if he could help me, and he's a very handy man, so he said yes right away. Very, very nice of him. He helped me build my booth, and we actually did it in October. He wanted to wait as long as possible, as much as we could, just so the wood wouldn't bend and it's also a big thing to store. So the closer to the show, the better. So I think we did it in October. We probably did it in like 2 weeks, let's say. I helped him with the main construction of the booth, and then he did quite a bit himself when I wasn't there. He painted, and yeah, like I literally showed him my design and he brought it to life.
Which is awesome. And that's something like if you don't have skills to assemble a booth and do stuff, you're going to have to hire someone or have someone else do it for you. Because like you need to show up there with walls and, you know, shelvings, and you're basically setting up a store essentially. So it's the same as if you're doing a small market where you need to have your tablecloth and your crates or whatever to elevate your product. It's the same idea. Except it's a whole like space that you need to fill. Yeah. So, and because it was your first time doing it, it's basically like it was your first market ever, because you're starting your setup from scratch.
Yeah. And the other thing that, sorry, I don't know why. Too young. The other thing that I found out later is that I knew you could rent walls. Like that's a thing they have. Okay. A company where they can rent the walls, but I didn't know if like what happens, you know, with the walls. Are they just bare walls? They're plain white. And after when I got to the show, I found out that you pay the price, they install them, they're like perfectly installed for you. You just get there and you can drill, make holes, put shelving, do whatever you want on those walls. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my gosh. If I knew that, I would have 100% done that. Because one, now I'm not doing the show again. So I have the booth in my garage. I'm not using it again. Yeah. And two, all the transportation, building and setting up the walls, it was such a pain in the butt. And I'm just like, why did I not do that? I had nobody to ask if I could drill holes and put shelvings and do things. So I didn't know. But I was so frustrated when I found out that I could have done that. I was like, man, why?
I can imagine. And how was the price? Was it like comparable to how much it cost you?
It was about, I think, probably $700 or $800 to rent the walls for 11 days.
It's probably about similar to how much it cost you to make.
It's probably around the same. Yeah. So my booth, the whole booth with the shelves, all the hardware and everything that I needed was about like $1,200. So if I rented the walls, I would have paid the same for probably around the same price because I still needed the hardware and the shelves and stuff. But I wouldn't have to be dealing with that now. And
you probably would
building it and bringing it and all of that.
Yeah, you would have probably saved a lot of time and effort. Yeah. That's good to know. If people are like listening and planning on doing this show, that's good to know. And I mean, I would also suggest that you validate, because from year to year, if they're changing like contractor or whatever, it might not always be that you can make holes and drill and attach all your things, but
it only makes sense, right? It only makes sense that they will let you do that.
For sure.
Because if not, why would you have walls where you cannot do anything?
Yeah, that would almost not make sense. Like
exactly. And then after, I'm pretty sure they just patch it and they paint it white again and done.
Yeah, probably.
You know, so like
interesting.
Yeah, so I didn't know that. And then the other thing that was super frustrating is that I rented lights, which again, they were expensive. You have to also rent electricity. So if you want light, which everyone needs lights, I'm pretty sure that everybody rented electricity. Like you need electricity.
Yeah, because you have to understand that you're in this massive like open space, this massive convention center.
Yeah.
So the lights aren't like they would in a store. They're not focused on your product. They're not shining on what you need. You don't want people to see your product. They're like way above you. And they're generally speaking, they're, you know, they light the place up, but not specifically your booth. And I remember you did stories because your booth neighbors had a bunch of lights. And you were saying, like, I walked past my booth and it was dark, but everybody else was, like, super bright. So, of course, that's not what's attracting, right?
Yeah, so what happened is that the lady in front of me, across from me, she had so many lights, it's ridiculous. Like, she could friggin' land an airplane. It was good because you can see every single thing that she had. She sells jewelry. Okay. So, of course, you need to see everything, right? But it was super bright, which made my booth look really dark because I didn't have enough light. And I rented a light from this company that you rent the electricity from. And I thought that that light was enough. It said that it would be enough for you and that it will light up all of your booth and whatever. So I'd show up, I get the light, and I'm like, you know, good, but not as good as I thought. And then this lady turns on her lights, and I was like, holy cow, my booth looks dead. It looked so dark. It's ridiculous. So on day 2, I asked Kale to go out and buy these like spotlights. And because I was walking around and I was seeing and everybody had those spotlights. So because I had electricity, I just ran an extension cord, and I think I climbed 1, 2, 3, 4 spotlights. I had 2 at first. I got 2, and I was like, good, but not enough, not good enough. So then Kale went and got 2 more, and then I had 4, and that was like way better. So that was a waste of money, in my opinion, renting the light from the company because it was not good at all. Like
Could you have rented more than one? Was that an option?
No, you can only rent one. You can rent different kinds. So there was probably, mine was like that yellow warm tone, which is good because I wanted my booth to look cozy. But I think you can also rent the white, which makes it a little bit brighter, but it's still not bright enough. Like, I really don't think it was bright enough. So my little spotlights were better than that light. So that was a waste of money. It was probably like $250 renting that light, and it did not do anything in my booth. So I got my spotlights. So that was, you know, a little bit annoying, thinking that you already spent $250 on something that's not working how you want it, and then
you expected to get there. You also expected to get there and like not even have to worry about that, and then you wound up having to go buy it, you know, figure out the extension cord, go up there on top of your booth and install it, and like do all that work that you are also not planning on doing.
Yeah. So, okay, where were we? So we designed the booth, we built it, it was perfect. Then I was thinking that I had enough inventory, stressing last minute that I needed more, and I was making more stuff. I even have a vlog where I show you guys everything that I had and all the bins. And at one point I thought, okay, I have enough, it looks good, I have a lot of things. It's funny because then I rented the Airbnb, and I needed a big Airbnb because my whole family was coming with me. And I even brought probably like 3 huge Costco bins full of yarn, thinking that, man, if I need to make something, I want to have the yarn.
Yeah, so and you were planning like everything. If I need to at the end of the market, like while I'm there, if it's not super busy, I'm going to be making, and like I'm going to spend my evenings making because like it's probably going to sell so much, and like so you were also prepared as like a backup plan if you didn't have enough inventory.
Yeah, because I was like, I'd rather have my yarn, bring it, and then if I don't use it, it's okay. At least I have it. So that's what I wanted to. So yeah, rented the Airbnb, which was also expensive. We were going to Toronto. Then I rented the trailer for my car. which was also expensive and very ridiculous in my opinion. It was probably like $150 or $120 from here to Toronto. So from Ottawa to Toronto. But then on the way back, the trailer.
Okay.
To rent the trailer to attach to my car.
Okay, because you rented one, left it there, and then picked up another one to come back?
Yes.
Okay, so you wouldn't have to pay all the days in between.
Yeah, but listen.
Okay.
I rented the one in Ottawa. We drove to Toronto. That one was probably like $120.
Okay.
Fine, good,
not too bad.
Not too bad. The one from Toronto to Ottawa,
Much
same
more expensive.
distance, same everything, same size, $460.
Oh my God.
And I was like, did I read that right? Like, how is it possible? So I ended up paying more than if I kept it.
And you had to worry about going to bring it. And
exactly. If I
wow,
kept the
that's
trailer,
annoying.
it would have been like $500, and it ended up being almost $600.
That sucks.
And I was like, how? Make it make sense. We're going the same distance.
It's just the
Same
amount of
trailer.
trailers they have there, and like the amount of people that are renting it, and like it's
I was like, it's not okay.
no, it's
not okay.
That's annoying.
But anyways, so we rented that. Then the Airbnb, I paid for the electricity, I paid for the lights, and
All your stock.
all my stock. I had to pay insurance too. You have to have insurance.
Yes.
So I paid for the insurance, the booth, and everything. So
And then, of course, but because you're at an Airbnb, like you're not at home, you also have to, buy food and
oh yeah,
do like everything. You're not home. You're on a trip essentially.
and then our Airbnb was like an hour away from the venue because that's the only place where it wasn't like $5,000
Yeah.
for the size that we needed, because my whole family was with me, so I needed a big place to fit everybody. So the Airbnb was like an hour away, and we also had such a bad time with the Airbnb. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I remember that.
So in total, the whole experience, the whole thing, paying for every single thing, for the yarn and everything, it was probably around $13,000
That it cost you just to go.
with everything included. So right there, you're just heading your head thinking, I need to make $13,000 just to recover my money.
Yeah.
Not even
You're not
my
making
time.
profit. Yeah.
Exactly. Not even my time. Not even
your stress.
not my stress, not the profit, anything. This is just to recover my money. And that was very shocking because I was like,
You weren't expecting it to be this much at the beginning.
no, I wasn't.
Had you known that it would cost you about this much, not even knowing how the market was going to go or anything, would that have put you off from actually going? Would
Yeah,
you have
for
been
sure.
like, oh, it's too much?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wasn't expecting the booth to cost me $1,200. I didn't know it was going to be that much. Then I didn't know about all the other things, the insurance, the lights, the everything.
It's things that you found out slowly over time. And if you've done
Yeah.
the market before, but it was like, okay, here's your booth cost. And you're like, okay. And then you paid that. And it was like, oh, don't forget, you need to have insurance. And you're like, okay. And then you paid that. And it was like, hey, if you want to rent walls, you can do it. And you're like, never mind, I'm going to build my own. And then it was like, hey, if you want to rent. So it's like, it came like one at a time, basically.
Oh, yeah. Everything was just too much. So if I knew, I probably wouldn't have done it. But
Okay. But let's save how it went for the next episode because we're already kind of hitting our time.
yeah.
So this was basically your process of applying and then kind of everything you need to think through and prepare and bring.
Before. And the money I spent before even getting into the market.
Yeah. And then we'll do another episode on how it went at the actual market.
Yeah, next episode we'll tell you guys how the market went, how much money I made.
Yes.
And
how it was there, things you learned, everything.
yes. So yeah, that was the process from where I got Scout and applying, designing my booth, and all of that. So yeah, that was a journey to get to the One of a Kind show, and how expensive it was. Ridiculously expensive. Like there's no other word to say how expensive the show was. Just ridiculously expensive. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are people that are going and they are laughing. Not me. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we will tell you how it went in the next episode.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
No, you.
If you have any questions, if you want to share anything, you can always reach us via email at
dropastitchpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find us on Instagram. We are at @NitalieCo and at cj.design.
And yeah, if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please rate us 5 stars. It's very shocking, friend. Did you see our Apple Podcast? There's like, I don't know how many, whatever, 1 star. Somebody left the 1 star.
Really? No, I didn't see. That's so sad.
But I know. There's like, we're at 4.2 out of 5, but I think it's because it's so easy to just move the
because there's not enough people that have.
No, it's not that. It's like the stars, whenever you hit them, it's really easy to miss and to move. So I'm like, it's either somebody that didn't know and by mistake hit the 1 star, or there's somebody that really doesn't like us.
Let's hope it was a mistake and not somebody.
Yeah, let's hope that it was a mistake. So if you guys can, please leave us a 5-star review so we can like.
Well, it helps us grow. It helps, like, they know that you like it, so they show our podcast to other people.
Yeah. And so then we can leave that 1 star behind, because it's not. Yes. I really want to think that it's somebody that made a mistake.
Let's hope.
I know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Yes, next week. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.